yesterday we only did 1 or 2 problems and then we're done. So then the rest of the time they had to work on it. Now, today, 2-3, well, the notes are entitled 2-3-1. Next year, this is going to be 2-3-2. I'm going to officially switch these. We're still using the same formulas. So the formulas that we've been using pretty much all week are going to be the exact same. The only difference for what we did the rest of the week and what we're doing today is if we look at this here, the value of h and the value of k is going to be 0. Because the vertex for these here is going to be on the origin, which means every h and every k for all of these here, all of these spots, is going to be 0. That's the only change. That the vertex is now on the origin, the point 0, 0, instead of somewhere else on the graph. That is the only difference. Now, there are specific formulas for this when it's on the origin. It's the exact same. They just have filled in 0, 0 for h and k. So I don't feel there's a whole necessary need to go back through and have these listed also, especially when the other formulas still work just as well. You just are filling in 0 for h and k. Only difference. H. K. And P. Now you will need to change some of the notes because I did change them between the time I printed them and now. This first problem here, you do need to change the equation because it was negative 4x equals y squared. I want you to rewrite it as x equals negative 1 over 4 y squared. Now if we look at this here, so again, I've already said every problem for this section, the value of h and k are going to be 0. But if we weren't told that and we looked at this here, well, there's nothing being added onto it. So since it's not there at all, for us here, the value of h is 0. We don't have a set of parentheses anymore, y minus k. We don't have that parentheses with a value added or subtracted to y inside of them. So the value of k is also 0. Because we don't need those anymore. Y minus 0 squared, that's just y squared. We can just rewrite it as y squared. We don't need the parentheses. Now the only other value we need is p. Now the next part has become way easier, because y'all informed me of a better way to do this. And it really is, because we can take p and set it equal to 1 over 4 times whatever the value in front of the parentheses or this squared term is. So in this case, we can write negative 1/4. And we just have to plug this into the calculator. 1 over 4 parentheses, negative 1/4 is negative 1. So the value of p is negative 1. So we've now found h, k, and p. Now the vertex, 0, 0, it's our h comma k. So it's 0, 0. It didn't ask for the vertex, but I just went on and listed it anyways. Now our focus for x equals, if we look at its original form, is our h plus p comma k. K would be 0. Now our h plus p would be 0 plus -1, which is just -1. So the focus is the point -1, 0. Our directrix is the equation x equals, well, this would be x equals h minus p. H minus p would be 0 minus -1. Well, our minus and negative become plus, which tells us that it's just 1. So the equation is x equals 1. And lastly, axis of symmetry is y is equal to k. Well, the k value is 0. That's it. Questions on any of this here? Questions on anything we've done so far? Let's look at the next one. Y equals 0.5x squared. What's the value of h? Value of k? It's whoever's in the boys' room right now. One over 4 times 0.5. So we can leave it as 0.5, or we can write its fraction as 1/2. So p is 1/2. Now the vertex is h comma k, or 0 comma 0. Our focus for x or y equals is h comma k plus p. Well, our h value is 0. We do need to find out what k plus p is. Well, that's 0 plus 1/2, which is 1/2. So our focus for this is 0 comma 1/2. Our directrix is y equals k minus p. Value of k is still 0. Value of p is 1/2. And 0 minus 1/2 is -1/2. So our directrix is the equation y equals -1/2. And our axis of symmetry is x equals h, so it's x equals 0. That's it. Questions on any of this here? Are you ready for the next one? So you will need to change the equation for this one here. Because I think it says y squared equals -2x, or -2x equals y squared. Negative y equals x squared. Yeah, I did switch the order. I think it's one of the next ones. Because I think if we okay. Yeah, I must have pulled it in from somewhere. But if you just want to follow along, we can, because it doesn't take much for this one here. Either that or I've repeated. Yeah. I had this one in the one before it flipped. Does that make sense? Because I think yeah. Now here, the value of h and k are. Yeah. So this one and that one got flipped around. Yeah, just mark it out. Because the ones in there, we'd have to solve, or not solve, but just rewrite them in the correct form, and I'm not going to worry about us doing that. So, because I know neither one of y'all were here yesterday, but we did, or it was shown to me, a new way to find the value of p. And it works out that p is equal to 1 over 4 times whatever the number is in front of the parentheses or this variable squared. So since that value is negative 1/2, we can actually plug it in here and it will give us the value of p. We don't have to do any calculations to get it. So we can say 1 over 4 parentheses, negative 1/2, enter. It actually gives us negative 1/2. So the value of p for this here is negative 1/2. That's it. Now our vertex is still the point h comma k. Well, the h value is, and the k value is 0. Now for this here, the focus, x equals h plus p comma k. Well, our k value is 0. Now off to the side, if you want to calculate h plus p, 0 plus negative 1/2 is, well, just negative 1/2. Our directrix, x equals h minus p, would be 0 minus negative 1/2. Well, our negative makes a plus, and we would just have 1/2. Yeah, these will be a part of the assignment. Questions on any of this here? Questions on this so far? I'm going to skip this one and look at this one here. X equals 1/6 y squared. Yeah, just go on and change it. Because again, I think it gave you y squared equals 6x or something of that form. Because I'm not going to worry about having y'all get the x by itself, get the variable without an exponent by itself. We'll save that for a different year. Now this one here, what is the value of h and k? And 0. Now again, to find the value of p, we take 1 over 4 times whatever number's in front of the parentheses or the variable with an exponent, which is So in this case, we take 1 over 4 parentheses 1/6. Enter, we get 3/2. So the value in this case is 3/2. Now it's not asking for the vertex, but I'm going to keep including it as the point 0, 0. Now our focus for this one here, x equals, is h plus p comma k. Well, the k value is 0. Now we need to calculate h plus p, which would be 0 plus, so that would be 3/2. So the focus is the point 3/2 comma 0. Directrix, it would indeed change to -3/2. As our h minus p would be 0 minus 3/2, which is indeed -3/2. And lastly, the axis of symmetry, it would be y equals 0. Questions on any of this here? Question on anything we've done so far? Oh. I'm going to be nice, and we'll save the rest of this for